How are you doing?
Hello, mate. How are we doing?
Episode number 1.
This is it. We're back.
Listen, I've got a great idea. I don't know if
Yeah.
people like it. It just came to me now. But you're the home screen. Can you put the home screen on for 1 second?
This one. That.
Yeah. So anybody on, I want to find out what the best caption is for that.
Oh, okay. What you're
caption.
telling me off?
I don't know what it is. I can see what I'm holding in my hand and where I'm holding it. I think I only just noticed it. Anyway.
That was from our last show, wasn't it? And we're back again there this coming weekend.
Monday. Just fly on Sunday, right? Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So that's going to be cool. And then we go off to do another 3 days there in Holland. And hopefully repeat what we did last time, but with more stuff. Just make it bigger, better. Always bigger and better, right?
Yeah.
So I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, same. Getting back onto a sort of podcast thing. So we'll just address everything. What we're going to be doing is we've got three topics, and dealing with the pressure in the salon. Why is my haircut always wonky? And is high lift better than bleach? It's something that we just wanted to, rather than what we did last time, where it was like a talk show sort of thing. We just want to be answering and helping you guys with particular questions that we always get asked, whether it be online or whether it be on one of our courses. Talking about online, since the last time we were here, Ian had 3 subscribers.
No, I had 127.
127. And what you're on now?
I had 127 subscribers, and I had my YouTube channel for 2 years, but I'd done nothing with it. And I'm just short of 40,000 in just about 4 months.
Yeah, amazing.
All thanks to you, mate. Thank you.
Wow. Well, should we talk about that as well just before we start? So the Stylist Blow Up Blueprint is what we've been working on.
Yeah.
And it's basically a rundown of we used Ian as a case study, how to go from 127 subscribers to what we wanted was 1,000.
1,000 we wanted.
In like 10 weeks.
1,000 by Christmas, remember?
Yeah, 10 weeks, wasn't it?
It started in October the 7th, and I wanted to get to 1,000 by Christmas.
Yeah.
And by Christmas, I actually had hit 10,000.
Yeah.
By following the strategy that you set out for.
Yeah. I'm just going to jump on my YouTube 1 second. But yeah, so the strategy is very, very simple, isn't it? Just give them like a teaser of what we did, but don't give it away.
Yeah, well, basically you gave me a program of, first of all, you showed me how to edit, which is like, for me, a technophobe. It was so simple. That was like the best thing. And unlike you on your YouTube, you use your laptop a lot. I'm actually I only use my phone. I have done stuff on my laptop. I find that more challenging. But I'm going to break that this year. I'm going to be more laptop oriented. But at the moment, I'm doing everything on my phone, which is so easy, it's so accessible. And then you give me a strategy, and we talked about the strategy and what I should do. And it was about making sure I was looking at my time, the times I was posting, looking at my demographics, what I was looking at, all of those things. And it was so easy. Like it was so simple, actually. It was so simple, not easy. But once I followed it and I got into habit, it's just a habit. And now I just do it every day. I've just been away skiing for a week, and I set content, believe it or not, to just do automatically while I was away. I didn't even look at my YouTube while I was away, but I still gained something like 1,000 subscribers while I was skiing, which is like incredible. And actually, Paul, I've got over 10 million now, finally.
Yeah.
So I have 10,200,000
views.
In
90 days?
90 days. So I can now monetize.
Awesome.
So I'm so happy with that. Obviously, that was the aim, to get there eventually. And as a backup of that, I'm doing mine on all shorts. And now my long form is taking off. Now I'm having like 8,000-10,000 views on my long form, which I haven't had before. So it's like feeding into that now. People are getting interested in what I'm doing on my long form as well as my shorts. So on my shorts, I've hit 10 million, in 90 days, I've had 10,250,000 views.
Wow.
where do you find the time to? It's honestly, it's like it takes minutes. It did take me longer. Initially, it took me like probably how long? Probably 15 minutes to edit one video. But it's a secret to it. I only film like 2 videos a week, maybe 3 videos a week, which are 9 minutes long, 10 minutes long max. Usually shorter, 7 to 10 minutes, I'd say. And then I edit those down into shorts. And I got out of 2 haircuts, I have a week full of content for my YouTube. And it's like genius. It's like unbelievable. I know she's smiling, but it's like a proud daddy moment, isn't it?
Well, the strategy worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
It's been phenomenal. I've got to be honest with you guys.
And it worked for everybody. So as soon as I mean, we need to get a course or maybe something on here. I don't know, but yeah, we've got something.
We've got a group on Facebook.
We have, yeah.
Well, thanks, Wendy. Wendy, you've seen it all, and Wendy would testify that I was probably the least techno person in the whole of the Joyco Europe team. Even worse than David Murray, I'd say. But I was always open to doing things. I just didn't know how, and now I've got it. I just enjoy. I actually enjoy it as well. It's become a real. It's given me like a new outlook on hairdressing, on how I look at hair cutting, how I look at my clients, all of those things. It's reinvigorated my career, like, you know, and I'm so thankful. So I'm really, really happy and blessed that I've come across, you know, the people I have who support me, like you, and you know, obviously the people in Joyco Europe, you know, who couldn't do this without, you know, but it's like phenomenal. Anyway, enough about that. I've grown a lot, Wendy says. I think it was fun and not like and instead of all the trouble. Yeah, and it used to be so much trouble. So yeah, and it is fun now, and I just like it is just cool. Anyway, first topic. Let's go. Let's get the shit on the road.
Okay, so first topic today is dealing with the pressure in the salon. Comes from multiple places. It can come from lack of understanding, lack of education, things going on at home, things going on in the salon. So this is just some topics that we want to touch on that we've come across in our comment section, but also when we're on courses, a lot of people say, oh, the pressure of in the salon, like sometimes can't deal with it. I don't know if I want to stay in the industry. What's your take on it, mate?
Well, I think, I don't want to talk about COVID, but post-COVID especially, I do think that there's been like a bit of a mental health issue with people. I think maybe people are shaken to the core more than they actually realized. I think things became more difficult for people. You know, being locked up at home is not a great thing, I don't think. Being away from people, you know, we're naturally sociable animals, aren't we? Humans, and I think that that caused a lot of issues and anxieties. And then coming back to the cut and thrust of a salon, a busy salon, and dealing with clients, that's really, really difficult, I think. You know, we forgot the pressures. You kind of, have you ever heard about the boiling frog thing?
No.
Yeah, really? Well, they say if
boiling frog.
Okay, they say if you've got a pan of boiling water and you throw a frog into it, don't do this at home, it's not very nice. But if you threw, it would hit the water and bounce out, almost rebound out straight away because the water's so hot, its reflexes to jump. But if you took a pan of cold water,
I have heard this,
put the frog in it and you turn up the heat, then the frog will stay in there till eventually it boils to death.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of salon owners, stylists, assistants, everybody in salon life were pretty much boiling to death under the pressure, but they'd been in it so long that they didn't notice it. So when we had that time off and then we came back, the water was still boiling. So when we hit it, we just weren't prepared for that. And I think it took a big toll on a lot of people. And I think, you know, people's mental health struggled. And, you know, having spent a lot of time on social media, you know, to keep in touch with people and link up with people during the pandemic, I think that then it became a lot of pressure on in the salon, how you then convey yourself on social media, and all those type of things became more pressure instead of making his life easier, I suppose. That's my personal take on it. So it was a double-edged sword. So we put more pressure on ourselves, social media put more pressures on us, and we all felt we weren't doing enough. And I think that the water was boiling when we came back into it, and we just weren't prepared for it. So, and we weren't very kind to ourselves either. You know, we had a lot of pressure from clients who were desperate for appointments. We wanted to make everybody happy. That's really difficult when they all wanted to get into the haircut and hair coloured. So I do think there was a lot of pressure, but that's all. We've got through that, and I think now, I think we talked about it earlier, whereas one of the things is pressure in education. And I think education has become a key area where it can make you or break you. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, education being, we were talking about it again earlier, it was about how clients come in with really, really high expectations. And I think that also follows on from when we were all locked down, that the expectation was very high because roots were bigger, highlights were grown out, colours were gone, and haircuts were sort of grown out. And we had to create, we were trying to make as much money as possible, but we've kept on that sort of rat race, sort of, we've been trying to fit everybody in and everything. But I do think when it comes to education, people either go on wrong courses or they're advised to go on wrong courses. So a lot of the courses that you see newly qualified hairdressers want to go on because they've just finished college is like creative or senior, whereas they need to go into fundamental foundation, and they think they need to go into senior courses to get that experience that seniors have got, but seniors have worked through that fundamental stage. And that's what I think a lot of straight out of college, definitely, like when I come straight out of college, I was addicted to like myhairdressers.com, YouTube. I was trying to learn as much as possible, and then it isn't until you find your feet a bit, you're like, oh my god, I need to step back a bit to go forward.
Yeah, I think I had one of these. I had a really high flying stylist who was like, had no fundamental sort of understand he could do anything creatively, but didn't have the fundamental stuff. Yeah. And it took him so far. But at the end of the day, when he got to the level where he really wanted to be, he was almost exposed by his lack of fundamental skill. You know, and especially when it came to haircutting, especially, so that was sort of my thing really. And I was always saying to him, look, take some time out and just practice these things. Go back to basics, get these really ground up, because when you get to that level, you need to be able to, people will look at you and you'll be with your peer group, which then when you've grown with you, or you've gone on to a new peer group that have skills that you maybe don't have, and they'll notice you don't have them. So you become a bit exposed and you're a bit vulnerable then. So fundamental skills is always something that I help my team with a lot. And I revisit my own fundamental skills on a regular basis because they underpin everything I do. So there's that. And dealing with pressure in the salon, I think, is like, we have looked at our appointment system, for instance, how we can alleviate some of the pressures that the appointments put on. We look at how the team take their breaks, their holidays, make sure they have frequent holidays and taking time off. And now, without going into too much detail, we've condensed our weeks. So my team now only work a 4-day week. They have alternate weekends off because I want them to have a really good work-life balance. Yeah. And we have to measure things to make sure that works, and it is working. But the team are responsible ultimately for making it work. And they know what they need as a salon owner, and they need to know what their obligations are to maintain. I'm working 4 days. They work condensed hours. They work 10-hour days, basically, for 4 days a week, and then they have alternate weekends off. And that's still pretty new in the industry, I think.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the whole 4-day, 3-day week, which is going off at the minute. I mean, we've seen this where salons have started closing on Saturdays. And there was a few near me that closed on Saturdays, and some of my old team that were with me, they were saying, "Oh God, we'd love to close on Saturdays," and blah blah blah. And it was a bit like, close on the busiest day. Saturday's still the busiest day, no matter what anybody says. Yeah, because like people walk in off the street. There's more people walking about because they're off work, and those salons that closed on Saturday, they closed down.
Really?
Yeah, and you don't really hear much of it anymore. There was a lot of people in the industry sort of pushing it, and I don't hear of it anymore. It might just be an old thing, but Yeah, it's
Yeah, I think that like my team, could we measure everything? But my salon manager, actually, she's the one who floated the idea. And what she said to me was like, "Do you even know which is the busiest day of the week?" And I said, "Yeah, well, Saturday's going to be up there." And Saturday was our third busiest day.
yeah,
And I was like, "Oh, right." And it was like significantly behind the other two. Wednesdays and Fridays were our busiest days.
yeah,
And Saturdays were only marginally busier than Thursdays.
yeah,
And so she said, "So why don't you let us work more on a Wednesday and a Friday? We can have a Saturday off." And I
yeah,
was like, it's hard to actually say no then.
yeah,
So she used a really good strategy to come to me with it. It wasn't just like, "Oh, this is what we want," and it was a demand. She came with a really good thought out plan. And then, we sat down and we kind of, and I said, I did something with the Savvy Salon Club recently on YouTube. And I said, no, the industry is full of dogma. And we do things because that's how we've always done them, or that's how I did them when I was training and so on. And actually, we need to revisit, how we educate. We got to be quicker with education. That has to include social media. That has to include, taking pictures and putting on your understanding your Instagram, understanding your Facebook, understanding Google, understanding your back office of Google, and all those things. Now, I don't only know as a salon owner, but my team have to know as well. So it's a new way of educating, not just about hair. It's about hair as a 360 thing, as like a concept of how you present yourself, how you look at the behind the scenes, the front window of the salons, and how you project yourselves, and that all of the work you do behind. Because we started doing Google ads, we started doing ads on Instagram and those things, and we commit money to it. Some things work, some things don't, and we're still finding out that because we still got it. But I think they will. That's my job as a salon owner, to take the pressure off the team for generating the income, to help them generate income. But by giving them a work-life balance of 4 days and every other weekend, they are responding really well to it. So I wanted them and their mental health to be good. So I know, and it's different from town to town, salon to salon. One size does not fit all, does it?
No, not at all. And watching that Savvy Salon Club, Savvy Salon Club.
Yeah.
I watched it, and I took a bit of what you do, where you get your team to text you their totals, like the accountability of it all.
Yeah.
And my team, we started as of this month, so they text me on a Tuesday, and they'll text me there Tuesday to Tuesday, because I'm either traveling or I'm here. I can be working on. I've got time to go through it, and I took that as a massive plus. So, and I didn't use it as a way to sort of like belittle or anything. It's like, or to look at, like, to really inspect what they're doing. That's not what it's for. What I was doing with them and what I'm doing with them now is, when they text me their total, I just ask them a question. It's like, what could we do better next week? And what it is when I was building as a stylist, I was looking at ways that why is sort of like next week empty? So then I'd go back 5, 6, 7 weeks. I'd check my rebookings from that period. Yeah. And then we'd either give a complimentary call, or I'd get one of the assistants just to give them a call. Is the colour still good? Is the haircut still sitting right? And then it either reminds them to be like, oh God, yeah, I need to be in, or stuff like that. And one of my girls, Sophie, so she needed to hit her target for this week, and she was a little bit off of it. And I said, right, what can you do? What do you think you could work on? And she's great at upselling 4-step hair repair.
Right. Well, that's the best thing in the world. Yes, I'm with you on that.
So on Saturday, gave her the challenge of, last week I gave Emily the challenge of doing 3, and she smashed it. This week, I think Sophie did 5 on Saturday, but she just does every client. Amazing flying.
It's amazing, but also it gives you an opportunity. When my team send me their figures in, I get mine on Saturday or Friday evening or Saturday. If they're off on Saturday, I get Friday evening. If they work Saturday, I'll get it Saturday. And it gives me the opportunity to congratulate them.
Yeah.
Say, hey, well done. Really proud of you. Well done. That's amazing. I knew you could do it. We sat down and we've talked about those conversations beforehand. And when you see somebody achieve, then you have to congratulate them and say how well done it is, because that does take the pressure off them to know that you're recognizing what they're doing. They recognize themselves that that if they don't hit the target, they'll say, "Oh, sorry about that."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, that's fine. At least you recognise it, and thanks for recognising it. And
Yeah.
I trust you'll make it better." And again, that's taking some pressure off them as well, and making things a little easier for them to perform, because like they know I've got their back, I know they've got my back, and so I'm not scolding them or giving them a row, but we sit down and we acknowledge where it is you are. Like if they do, I now got them looking on a Saturday or Friday at their week coming,
Yeah.
and then identifying in a diary in that particular day where they could see possible upsells. And I like them to identify at least one upsell a day.
Yeah.
So 4 upsells a week, and that makes a massive difference. You got 8 staff, 8 stylists upselling one a day.
Yeah. Massive.
18 upsells a week. You increasing your average bill, you're increasing the revenue in the salon. It makes such a big difference on everybody. And the more, I always say, the more that my team generate, the more I can give. And they, so I do give incentives, I do give them gifts, and I do give them stuff, so they feel that they're being rewarded for what they're doing. And again, it's about trying to help them have a low stress and low pressure creates higher figures. Do you know what I mean? That's in all industry. Low pressure, a low pressure salesman would have higher sales than the high pressure salesman. And that's what you do is create a low pressure environment, so that then you can have a high yield or high sales. And that's how we can look at it.
And this is why we wanted to talk about this topic, because we've had a question come in: what targets do you set for your team for a 4-day week? And it will be different from salon to salon, from business to business.
But team member to team member.
Yeah.
Because they're on a slide. My team members on different. They charge differently. It's a great question, actually. Thank you. But they charge. They've got a scale in the salon, so I've got 5 different levels in the salon, 5 different styles, and each level will have its own target for the stylist. So it can vary from stylists depending on what they're charging. The only thing that doesn't change is the rebooking rate, the retail sales, and the utilization. But the actual financial stuff changes from stylist to stylist, depending on what they charge.
And I think with what we're, just to summarize it all, like dealing with pressure in the salon, it's about having the team understand the business, understand the pressures that is on the salon owner as to what we can give. We would all want to give everything if we could, but without money coming in, the pressure is on.
Yeah.
And
I felt, I don't know, like lately I felt that, like before Christmas I felt that.
Yeah.
Knowing I had to pay my wages, pay my VAT, pay all my corporation tax. They were massive pressures.
Yeah.
And but the great thing about it is having a dialogue with the team and letting them know that they knew I was stressed, and say, guys, I just need a little help here. And you know what? Every single one of them stepped up, and they all increased their sales, they all increased the retail, they all increased, and it was just like it took so much pressure off me, because but that's taken a long time to kind of have that relationship with them, where they trust them. And but there are all sorts of different pressures and way to deal with them. And I think that, I don't know if anybody else has that or how they deal with it in their salons, but I think that if you've been honest and upfront and you have good lines of communication in every respect, personal, on your one-to-ones, or one-to-ones can be like, just let's put your hand on somebody's shoulder saying, are you okay?
Yeah.
That goes down a long way. Or if one of your team members is off, that they don't see themselves, say, everything okay? Are you feeling all right? Do you need to speak to me? Can I help you? Those type of things. And actually, it comes back to me when they know I'm a bit stressed. Say, oh, you're a bit stressed today. Oh, yeah. And I can say, oh, it's because of this. And they go, oh, okay, what do you need us to do to help?
Yeah.
It's supporting each other, isn't it? And I think that's when you've got a real team, I think.
Well, it is, and that's it. Like, that's why we do employ. That's why we want to support people. We want the support back. But so there's a question coming as well. We'll do the questions in a second. But it is, dealing with the pressure of the salon from a salon owner is what we've just spoken about. But with you guys, if you're stylists or anything like that, I think really get to know, like what Ian was just saying, get to know the business a bit more, but also the education side of things. For me, that's one thing that I've seen on courses that we've done. People get really the anxiety that comes with, oh my god, I've never done this hair trend before, I've never done this color technique before. So when you're not upskilling or uplearning, you're like every day, every week, however much you want to put into it, whatever you're going to put into it, it's going to benefit you anyway.
Yeah, I think that is it. I think especially like be specific about what you feel you need to learn.
Yeah.
And if you feel weak in one area, then go out and actually target that area, and it will give you relief. It will give you like you might have a bit of pain along the way, but you will understand that you will, once you've got the knowledge, and you become a bit more bulletproof, if you like, because you know what you need to know, and I think that goes a long way. So right, let's have 2 minutes of questions if you've got any.
So we had the question, which was, what targets do you set your team for a 4-day week? Which is what we answered. Yeah. Different
for each person, depend on the
scenarios.
Yeah. Space level. Yeah.
And then St. Mark. Do you remember St. Mark?
Of course, always.
Yeah. What are the pressures in the salon in the UK? Is it different from the US? I mean, I don't know what pressures in the US, but I can imagine it's similar but different with the way that salons run.
I think the salon setups are very different in the US. A lot of rent the booth type of salons, which is fine. And we have more of that now in the UK than we've ever had. But it used to be in the UK there was a lot of employed salons, so all sizes employed. So the setup's slightly different, but I think overall the pressures will be the same. Your mental health, well-being, kind of demands you put on yourself, working long hours, all of those pressures, I think, are in the industry globally. You know, when I was in Australia, I saw it in Australia. When I was in Taiwan, I saw it in Taiwan. So, the things I've seen, it's one big industry globally, and it's similar wherever you go. I don't see it being different anywhere, really.
Yeah, for sure. Right, should we go on to the next one?
New topic.
Far away, mate.
Why is my haircut always wonky? Now, is this from a client or is this from a stylist?
From both, to be honest.
Can you define wonky? Can you tell people, just because if they are Americans, Americans know what wonky means?
Yeah. Uneven. Uneven.
Yeah. So it's a wonky, uneven haircut. Why is it haircut? So where are you looking at it from a stylist point of view, or looking at it from a client's point of view?
I think both. I think, should we start with, say, well, I think the first area of it for both would be consultation. And in the sense of looking at like hair growth patterns, what we're dealing with, what the client wants, and what the expectation is. I think that consultation, where if somebody has got hair that jumps up, blow dried round brush, because sometimes that can create a little bit more jump up on one side. There's loads of different things that can cause a haircut to look wonky if it is cut perfectly. But I think when we're talking to clients in a consultation setting, I think we have to understand how they look after it at home. Yeah. As a stylist, we need to be looking at how their hairline jumps, what products we're going to use, what products are they going to use, and so on. So
there's a simple thing. There's a couple of different things, like from a stylist point of view then, which is in the consultation. So one of the first things I would look for is a hair growth pattern.
Yeah.
So before I start, even with face shape or whether, I want to know what the hair growth pattern is. Did you know? It's the did you know moment. Did you know that everyone has a directional growth pattern? It's either clockwise or anti-clockwise. And so that's why one side will always go back, and then the other side will always looking forward. When you push it back, you'll always flip-flop, because everybody has this clockwise or anti-clockwise growth pattern. And establishing what that is often critical before you even look at face shape, hair density, thickness, length, all of those things. Because if you don't understand the growth pattern, then you might be trying to push the hair in a direction it doesn't want to go. It's never really going to work. It's a lot of work. You look bad. Client thinks you don't know what you're talking about. So those things can happen. So understanding that growth pattern, actually, it's really easy actually. Like I always comb from the front back, give it a little push forward, and it'll separate. You'll see it'll move. And then if you put the comb the way it's going, it'll usually lay flat. If you push it the opposite way, it's a little kick at the roots. So maybe a subtle one, but it's there, and you'll see it. And that's a really cool way to establish what the growth pattern is. You can have multiple growth patterns where you've a double crown, where you've one's going clockwise, one's going anti-clockwise. In that respect, I will always go dominantly with the one that's good in the front, because that's what clients are going to see. Yeah. And there's one usually more dominant. You'll have a little bit of one, but a quarter of one, 3/4 of the other. And that's when I would kind of look at it that way. And then what makes a haircut wonky is body positioning when you're cutting. Full stop. It's like it's the one we use when we do cutting seminars, and like especially if we do a graduated bob, which is a really great technical haircut to do. Then I always say, and it's like a prediction, and I think if you heard me say it, Paul, is that if you stand directly behind the client and you go to graduation, I always say, do you always find that if you're right-handed, your left-hand side of graduation will always be better than your right-hand side of graduation. You always seem to lose that corner in, and they go, oh my God, yeah, that's exactly, how do you know that? Well, it's because I know, it's because how we stand is more natural if you're a right-hander to do the left side. When you do the right side, it's more unnatural, and you start moving your body to accommodate. And that way you'll usually change the line, and you'll change the weight and direction of the way you're cutting. And so that has a big bearing on how you should know where your feet are, where you are standing, what the client's head is doing. Is it down? Is it up? What's the natural fall? All of those things can protect you from getting a wonky haircut.
Perfect.
Do you not think?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that's what body position for me is one of the biggest things, because you see a lot of people, they'll sort of stand very comfortable on one side, and like you were saying, as they're getting a bit uncomfortable, that arm say got to come across the body, then it's like, oh, that's uncomfortable. So then I'm going to move my body around slightly to make it a bit more comfortable.
From the centre, it takes half a step.
Yeah.
That to there, and now you've changed the line.
Yep.
Because you're not pulling the same spot. Like you're not pulling towards yourself, and especially on graduated bobs. It's a real technical one, but it's one I love to show, because once it's one of those things. Sometimes you see it. I see it so often. When you explain it that way, somebody goes, "Oh, God, is that what it is?"
Yeah.
Yeah, get it. Yeah, I always step around, and so you follow the line around, and the line rounds. It doesn't keep that heaviness, So it's that's where it changes. So that's kind of a skill in itself. But clients consultation is key. What do you use any tools for consultation?
Yeah, I did a video today actually on consultation.
Oh,
did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, mainly colour though. But when it comes to cutting, I'll get on
colour tool, right?
Pardon?
That's a brilliant colour tool.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I love it.
The colour match kit and the consultation kit is just. We're so, like I say in the video, we're so lucky that Joico produced those two things, because it just like colour me perfect.
Yeah.
It just gives you, and the client. I mean, I think the biggest thing is for clients. You put these things next to their face, and it becomes drawn, or you like lightens up.
You see it immediately.
Yeah.
And they can see what you see, and that's the thing, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. But I think for hair cutting, when it comes to consultation, I mean, your mobile phone. Like use that a lot with like imagery and that sort of thing. But when it comes to I use, like when we're looking at corners, I suppose this is more like showing stylists, but using combs to show corners of heads, like I love that. Yeah. Planes of the head, high point of the head, where is it going to fall, where's your parting going to come from and go to, and everything like that. So
have you do you have a Pinterest board?
An old one, yeah.
See, I do Pinterest all the time. Oh, yeah. That's my dog. Sorry, she's like getting a bit restless. I do Pinterest a lot, and I use my Pinterest board a lot just because I can communicate in a way clients understand because they like to see imagery. And I think that's key to it as well.
One of the things that I do, just jump on Google and I'll type it while we're talking. I'll say, like, I'm just gonna narrow this down a little bit more. I'll get my phone out, I'll go on Google, and whatever the words are coming from the client, I'll start typing into Google, and then I'll filter it for the last week. So then I look for last week's uploads, last week hair trends, and that's what I do for YouTube videos as well. I'll think of something, and then I'll go on the last week, 24 hours, last 48 hours, and I'll look at what is so fresh.
Look, this is the trouble. Come here, Bron. Come here. Bronny, up here. Come. Up here. Look, I've got to show you. This is Bronwyn.
Hello.
So she's telling me she wants to go out. She does this all the time, right? So for the second time she's done this. So I was away on holiday last week, and Bronwyn was away, stayed with my mother, her grandma, and she was spoiled. And so she's come back and she's been really restless because she's not getting the attention that she had last week of grandma.
In a minute, when we finish this,
what's that?
When we finish this, all the attention in the world.
She'll have all the attention in the world, yeah. She's jumping up now. She thinks she can jump up. We work with animals and kids, they say.
Yeah. Harry's outside on the landing.
Is he?
Yeah.
Harry's a cat, right?
He is, yeah.
Yeah. So it's sorry, I digress. Pets randomly on live stream. Yeah. She's just demanding my attention. Go on. Sorry, you wouldn't say about your where you Google for your YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. I'll filter it down to like a week, 48 hours, 72 hours, 24 hours, and I'll try and get so bang on trend and so on the minute that that's my biggest tool that I use. For consultations anyway. We could do another on our next podcast. We could do like maybe social media with how we come up with keywords and terms like that. So, but yeah, that's how I really narrow it down.
Yeah, they've done. You're genius to do that. To be fair, you always come up with something new.
Well, it's hard at the minute. trying to find some inspo. But yeah, like to summarize that then, like with wonky haircuts, it is down to consultation. I think consultation with everything. Having tools there to let clients understand, not just on the point of this isn't going to happen, or if you do this might happen, but them understanding their own hair is a major part of it, because if you can break down the hair so you can become like this sort of mystic Meg, where it's like, oh, I bet your hair pops up at the back, I bet this side flicks around there. Do you find sometimes
predicting?
Yeah. And then that's what blows clients' minds when they're very much like, oh yeah, that's what I struggle with. So why is my haircut always wonky?
Especially with clients who like say hair growth pattern, like clockwise, anti-clockwise. I'll always say like, do you find up in the morning, you get up, this bit always sticks up at the crown? Yeah, every morning. Like, yeah, because you're taking it the wrong way. When you explain it, they get it, and they're like, oh yeah. They may not want to change it. They may want to, because habits are hard to break, and people want to do the same thing. But actually, if you explain to them those things, they actually get it, and they go, oh right, I get that. I can see where you're coming from. So and like I said, you could be like a bit of a psychic and say, oh, does it stick up in the morning? They go, well, how do you possibly know that? Yeah, it's terrible every morning. Yeah. Especially your neighbours.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any questions then that they'd like us to answer on wonky hair?
Mark's just said maybe she has natural curls and the stylist does not know how to cut and style curly hair, which is a great observation.
Yeah, and I think that curly hair is a real art form. I was really lucky. My mum had curly hair, so I had to learn to cut on curly hair because my mum was the first person who allowed me to cut her hair.
Yeah.
And with all my contemporaries in the salon when I was an apprentice, they all had mums with straight hair. My mum had curly hair, and I had to kind of perform on that. But it stood me in good stead. It's like, I'm very, very comfortable on curly hair now, and
Yeah.
always have been because of that. And also, I was a stylist in the 80s when perms were massive. You know, in fact, I had a client in today, a young client today, wanting a perm, and brought these pictures in, and and looking at her hair, and look at the density texture of her hair. I believe I can get to that result by just adding layers to her hair, because her hair is one length and it's heavy, and I think let's not do the perm straight off. Let's give you these layers. Let's cut the shape that you like, because the haircuts she showed me were all the right, they're all similar in shape, and I reckon I put that shape in, and I'm pretty confident I can get a really nice beachy wave out of it with minimal results, with minimal effort, without having a perm. But we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you posted. I think she's coming in on the 30th or 31st this month. Ooh, love a perm. Yeah, I loved the perm as well, Suzanne. They were awesome. 11 a day I used to do back in the day.
I remember my mum's perm.
Wind 11 perms a day. That was a big one.
So Mark's just said, can you guys talk about your journey or rise to the top from newbie hairdresser to become a salon owner?
Oh, that's a great question.
It is a question, yeah.
I think, should we do that as a topic, and that whole topic of his own, and like maybe next week?
Yeah.
Oh, Mark, that's brilliant. That's a great, great question. I'd love to share my story, because mine's like, I literally was a late bloomer. And I think there's, and it's knowing when opportunities arise, and seeing opportunities, and actually saying yes to things, and knowing when you've got to do things for free, and all of that. That's a brilliant, we could almost do one whole episode on that, I think.
Yeah, because it is a big, there's a lot there.
There's a lot. And the more interactive that can be, the better it will be. The more people can contribute and ask questions, the more information we'll be able to give, because we've both been really lucky and worked for, I worked for 3 big brands, you worked for 3 or 4 big brands, and we both know what's needed to get to that level. And I've had more disappointments than I've had successes in that respect. But they've all been worthwhile getting to where I am now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And we're both together. Next week, Monday, Tuesday, we're both together. So what about on this Sunday? I can't remember what time we get in. Maybe the Monday night.
Monday night be able to do it. We might be able to do it on Monday. We definitely do it one night next week. Maybe from the airport. We always have time at the airport.
Yeah.
We may have to not do Kabaya.
I'm happy with that.
Really, I love Kabaya. Kabaya is a restaurant in the airport we always go to when we're coming home.
Yeah, no, it is nice. It is nice. But yeah, Mark, we'll do a whole video on that, because there's so much. I mean, I did a video on it on my channel. I had an interview, and then interviewed every single question of how I did this and how I did that. So it is up there. But yeah, definitely we could do, because I mean, I started hairdressing when I was 21.
Yeah, I started when I was 15.
Yeah, so we could. We'll do it. If we can do it next week when we're in the Netherlands, if we can get.
Awesome.
Yeah, if we can get an hour.
Yeah.
We'll try it.
Pre-recorded even.
Yeah.
Definitely do that. No, I'd rather try to do the live one, because then we can answer better questions, can't we?
As seasoned hairdressers now, what would you tell your younger self? Any advice you would tell your younger self when you were just starting out as a hairdresser? See, another great question. What would I tell my younger self? To be honest, nothing.
Really?
Yeah. I'm very happy with the way that my career's gone. I don't know what I always say. Oh, maybe I should have started like younger, but I wasn't mature enough. 2, I was going out every weekend. I wouldn't have. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have like knuckled down. So not starting sooner. Yeah, there's. I don't think I've got anything to tell my younger self
Mine would definitely be, if I was telling myself anything as a younger hairdresser, it would be that don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to do what other people won't do, to get ahead. Because I always wanted to blend in almost, not to be. I really wanted the success, but I always I thought I can't do that because people think I'm showing off, or people think I'm trying to be big-headed. And actually, I should have just done my own thing. I trusted in my own. I wasted 10 years of that. I can tell you, I wasted from 20 to 30 just playing small. When inside I was playing like a cat, but inside I felt like a lion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but and it's very true for like your recent YouTube journey. I think you've had so much to give.
Same thing. It's like, how hard it was, because I thought, I'm never going to do that, because who wants to know, like, playing small, isn't it?
Yeah.
My default is playing small. I think I've been brought up into, don't be big-headed, don't say too much, and don't, who do you think you are? And so you never really want to be judged. But like, I get judged on YouTube. Like, I get some terrible comments on YouTube.
Yeah.
But, I'm kind of like, you knew that they were really hurtful to me originally. I couldn't understand why people would say hurtful things.
Well, yeah, you were deleting them, weren't you? And I was like, mate, just stoke the fire, because they're the ones that bring the money.
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing, and now it's fun, and I don't take it seriously anymore, and I don't, I'm like, yeah, great, you did 3 followers or 3 subscribers with with a cat in your Avi, and like, I'm like, so what? You're just bored, or you're sick, or you're just lashing out, projecting, whatever you want to do, and I'm just doing something that I'm trying to add value to other hairdressers' experience.
Yeah, I think that would be probably the thing for me. I wish I started YouTube earlier.
Yeah,
but again, I didn't know what I could offer. I didn't have the confidence to sort of get up and on camera.
So how many subscribers you got now? 100 and how many thousand?
Coming up to 110,000. 110,000, yeah.
You had your silver play button as well, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's magic. That's
I can't believe it. When I walk in this, because it's in the studio. When I walk into the studio, I'm like, oh, it's up on the wall, and it's like, oh yeah, like that's a mega achievement.
Above my bed, let alone above the wall of the studio. I'd have it above my bed.
It's crazy to think that, like, that to me, that is like when people say, why aren't you doing British hairdressing and stuff like that, it's a different avenue for me, and to be able to do that and hit that, and then the next one being at like 1 million. I looked today and it says I will hit 1 million subscribers if I keep the trajectory of them going when on my 40th, around my 40th birthday.
Seriously?
Hit 1 million.
Time. A year's time?
2 years.
Is it 2 years? I thought it was about 5 years.
Nah, 2 years time, yeah. 38.
No way. Why do I keep thinking you're 35?
Don't know.
I was taking the mic, mate. I'll take it. Yeah. I'm going there.
But yeah, we'll do those topics, definitely.
Yeah. They're really good questions. They're really good topics. So, final topic for the evening.
Final topic is high lift better than bleach? I've seen this topic pop up on a forum, and it's something that hairdressers always sort of battle out. Let us know, the people who are watching, what do you think? Do you think high lift is better, or do you think bleach is better? I know there's different scenarios, and I know there's different times to use them. But when you have clients say, oh, I don't want bleach, I want high lift, and they're telling you to do your job, or when you're thinking, oh, as a hairdresser, oh yeah, no, I don't want bleach, I'm going to use high lift, but you're not hitting those levels, what are we saying?
Yeah. Who prefers high lift over bleach?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, same.
Who are these people? Because I probably until about 5 years ago, really, I was that late to the party with bleach. I was always suspicious of bleach. And now, like I said, I've got one client who insists on high lift.
I love bleach.
Even though I think it looks not as nice as when we bleached it. I could get this really lovely vanilla creamy blonde in it, and she likes it yellow, basically.
Mm.
Like, and I just don't get it. But she is an older client. She is a client who still does the kind of the really dark bronzed foundation. So when she has a shampoo, there's a big white line, so she has to do that quickly with a brush. You sit there with a towel on. So, and she says, "Where's my lip liner? Quite a strong lip liner, you know, like."
Yeah.
She's a child of the 80s, 90s, you know. That's what she's from. But she
I can envisage, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think what you were saying there.
Imagine Olivia Newton-John with the big hair and that's no. She hasn't got the big hair, but she's got the big blow dry still. Even and even though she's getting on a little bit. She's my longest client actually. I've been doing her hair for 43 years.
Yeah.
So and she's followed me everywhere. So I love her. She's like my second mum. But we argue about her hair all the time.
Oh, I remember you telling me about her, yeah.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, like with high lifts, to get those caramel tones, to get those warmer blondes, perfect. If you're working, like we were saying, Scandinavian hair, if you're working on levels sort of, I wouldn't even say 7, I would say 8 and above to get a really sort of nice, clean. I know they're designed for 7 and above, but I always think sometimes someone's 7 is a darker 7.
Yeah, because sometimes you have like a really cool 7 or a warm 7.
So breaking through.
So because there's ashy tones, it's a lot to break down then sometimes, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, say you're looking at level 7, you've got those oranges in there. You've got to go through orange, then yellow, orange, yellow, pale yellow, and then you've got to get to that sort of, well, the lightest color. And then you've got to have that power, that tint and tone in that tube to continue toning. I just think it's a big ask. I mean, with our Blonde Life high lifts, they sort of guarantee 0 warmth. That's what it says on the tin. And if used on the correct level and the correct base and the correct underlying pigment, totally. But this is what I want to know: is high lift better than bleach? And we've had a couple of people. My mum's obviously said bleach. She has bleach on her hair every 4 weeks. And this is what I was just saying when you were saying about you were late with bleach. When clients come in the salon and they always say, "Oh no, I don't want bleach," it's like, I absolutely adore bleach. I will bleach anybody's hair to a degree, because it's what gives you the ability to completely do makeovers, transformations, changes, get to those cool tones. And when people have been
so much more versatile, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it was like I really got to trust bleach when, like, in Helmond, in Hollywood, at head office, we did a thing with bleach, and it was like 10 volt. And they just said, "Oh yeah, low and slow." We left them for like 55 minutes. The lift was just incredible with 10 volt.
Yeah.
The reason I was like, how? You know?
Yeah, those high developers just blow the cuticle out too quickly, releases so much warmth so quickly, and then it can't catch up with itself as such.
Can't deposit fast enough.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It can't break it down because the cuticle's already opened up too quickly, and that's why all that warmth is showing through. So when we're talking about is high lift better than bleach, there's different scenarios and different times to use them. But the main thing is, which a lot of people sort of talk about, is if you're using high lift with 40 volt, but you're using bleach with 10 volt, does that change your opinion?
Yeah, mine massively. As you know, I'm not as familiar with colour as you are. I don't colour in the salon as often as you do.
Yeah.
I haven't coloured in the salon for like 10 years. I have colourists to do it for me now, because that was just what I charged my haircuts for more for my colour. So it made sense for me to have somebody do my colour so I could do more haircuts, right? So I haven't done that. But actually, I think that the test is, if I look around the salon now, I just never see high lift being used anymore.
No.
My team will always use bleach, like low and slow. They gives them more control. They have so much fun with the toners.
Yeah.
You know, listening to toners speak. For clients, it must be mind-boggling. Are we going to use our TPP or TSP? Like, it's like, 9B. They just give in all the And clients go, what on this? What language is this?
It's like listen to a dentist.
And I love listening to them talk about it because I love the excitement they get. Like, oh my God, I've just used this new toner. I've just used this, and this. Oh my God, this is the result.
Yeah.
The variations you are able to get if you lift the hair with bleach, to proper pale yellow, you can have so much fun with it. It gives you so many more options than a high lift would, for instance. High lift, that's it. You get the colour if you're lucky. That's it. I'm not saying that maybe that's this doing a disservice. It's not just if you're lucky. If you know what you're doing, you'll get the colour. But it's very limiting, but you're hitting the bullseye, and you aren't like giving you. It's just one narrow vein you're using. You aren't opening up a spectrum of colour.
Well, with high lift, like we've just said, there's a time and place, but you've got to obey the instructions, the development time. And I think that's another thing that people don't, with high lift coming from those warmer blondes like the Pam Anderson and all that. I think high lifts are perfectly good if you're going to be working on level 7+. Yeah. Mark's just given us a perfect thing to come to when we do the questions. But the amount of clients now that want really cool, icy, ashy. I mean, you say to 90% of clients, like, what blonde would you prefer? It's like, I want ashy. It's always ashy. But to be honest, most of the time we don't tone with ash. Like we tone with violet, because we have to obviously neutralize that yellow to then cool it off. Probably a little bit of silver blue in there. But most of the time I want it ashy. It's like, if we just put ash on that, we'd be looking at khaki. Yeah,
and also with some of the ash tones, they darken.
Yeah.
So, and you don't want to dark, if you're pre-lightening to that, the lightness you want, you then don't want to take it back to dark, because the dye load in ash is more saturation than.
It just flattens off.
Yeah, so it flattens it right out and it makes it look dark.
And that's it. When people bring in pictures and they show you and they're like, oh, look, I want that ashy blonde, it's like, oh, that's really bright. I mean, if we're looking at on the ash side of things, it won't be as bright as that. We're going to need to formulate, like you were saying, TPB, TBB, TSB, a little bit in there for that ashy tone, but we want to brighten it as much as possible, neutralize that yellow. But that's the thing with bleach. You're able to open it up as much as possible, remove as much melanin as possible. With high lifts, you're limited to the manufacturing instructions of that it lifts for this amount of time, and it just stops. Like that's a high lift. A high lift does its job, lifts, deposits, and then. Whereas with bleach, we can then we could reapply on top, and then we could try and push through again. But that's why we wanted to bring you that. Is high lift better than bleach? Because a lot of people say, oh, I want high lift. You're using a high lift, high ammonia product with 40 volt to try and get those high level blondes, when you could use bleach, a low ammonia product, if any. Yeah. And you're using 5 volt, 10 volt, 20 volt to get you to a brighter level, and then being able to customize it to that client because you're able to tone.
Yeah. And I think that's the key to it, I think, is the customization.
Yeah.
And also, when I say 40 volt now, it scares me.
Well, it's the new 60 volt.
Yeah, bloody hell, yeah, true. Yeah, I can remember the days when we used to have 60 volt. We used to actually used to bleach for 60 volt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now everyone's like, oh my God, 60 volts like gone for that reason, because it's 40 volts the new 60 volt.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to touch it.
No, especially now people coming in the industry who've been in like 5-10 years when balayage has been massive. They don't want to go anywhere near stuff like that. And show them high lift, they're like, what? Why would you do that? So it's a kind of forgotten thing in the UK, especially, I think, high lift, amongst most of the fashion-oriented salons, because they like to play around with stuff so much,
Yeah.
60 volt.
Right, let's just bring Mark's, and Bev, thank you for that. She says, you know better, I like wheat look beige. And you can get that with both. You can get that with a high lift because it's that sort of on the warmer side, beigey side. But to get beige, you need violet in there. So using a bleach to tone it to a beige color would be the way that I would go. But Why would you use bleach if the client's already level 6 or 7? Just use 40 plus high lift. And that's the thing. For me, using 40 volt, opening that cuticle so much. Don't get me wrong, there's a time and place to use high lift. This is why companies still make high lifts. They're very, very good. But if you could lift it on a low and slow with a bleach to get a more conditioned, cleaner lift, that's what I'm trying to say. That's why I would go for bleach over high lift.
Yeah, condition.
Yeah.
I'd use 10, 20 volt over 40 volt all day long. Yeah, we don't have 60 volt here in the UK either now.
No.
But we used to have it.
Before me.
So yeah, I like a good question. Like 6, 7. Why would you, if you're already level 6 or 7 or 8, and you kind of want to go to high lift? I could see why you would make a decision, but you're going down one narrow path.
Yeah.
Like you're taking down one narrow path because you're lifting and depositing at the same time, and you're going to come out with your gold, or you're going to come with your cool, or your natural, or whatever. You can only do that. But if you lift up to a pale blonde, and it's a nice clean lift, then you can put any customized tone you want. And I love that customization for that client, and having that feel for that client, and having that understanding about where she wants to go with it. And then, and also, on a commercial way, I know that client's going to come back in 4 weeks for a tone.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see, instead of seeing every 8 or 12 weeks, I'm going to see every 4 weeks. And she's having a tone and a blow dry. And I know the hair integrity stays better because I'm using a lower lift peroxide, a lower lift developer.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm not going to have to treat it so much. I'm not going to put so many treatments on it. And she can have a really good, high quality salon shampoo and conditioner, and maybe with a treatment every 10, 14 days, and the hair will be pristine. But when you use 40 vol, the integrity of the hair itself, not on one application, but on several applications where you overlap or whatever, becomes quite porous then. And then the result isn't as even. And then when bleaching, you're always going to even out that result. When you're taking the bleach through a bit, you're going to clean out the ends, and it's doing minimal damage, isn't it, with 5 or 10 volt? Yeah.
Even with like water, it's so customizable to use. Bleach has come a very, very long way from the years before I was doing hair.
Yeah,
and it's just getting better and better. And now we've got the plexes, defy damage, 4-step hair repair system. We can guarantee that hair is going to be really beautifully looked after. But with our show this coming week, next week, I would love it now if we could get a model with a high lift.
Oh yeah, you're thinking, you're on fire tonight. That's good. I like that.
We've got to do a blonde. So if we've got someone level 8, I would love to.
I'd do half and half.
No. I wouldn't do half and half. I would love to do the Blonde Life high lifts, and just get a beautiful Scandinavian blonde.
Okay.
I mean, I've still got to use bleach. We've got to do balayage. We've got to do all that sort of thing. But just on this topic, I would love it if one of the models next week, our meeting's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would love if one of the models is like level 8. Like
we can actually ask, and the casting.
Yeah.
What time's our meeting tomorrow? 6 o'clock, isn't it? 1 o'clock. I can see you going. Oh, I do 1 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd forgotten.
But yeah, so that's what I'd love.
Let's ask for a model for our presentation next week. That's a stretch, level 6, 7 with the high lift. I wouldn't trust it.
Just wouldn't hit it, Mark. Would not hit. Level 8 is too easy. Exactly. Level 8 is too easy. No, it's not too easy. Level 8 is a Perfect. Good level to lift very beautifully and high.
And give you a really clean, beautiful, refreshed look.
Yeah. Why would we want to make our job any harder? That's the thing. So when you're saying do a model natural level 6 or 7, it's just making my job so much harder. We've got probably what, 6, 7, 8 models to do. There's no way I would think, oh yeah, there's a level 6. I'm gonna put a high lift on and then have to go back and then bleach it.
Yeah.
And the condition of that after that, we're looking at creating beautiful, healthy looking hair. There's just no way that it would. If I was going for what, level 6, if I was going for, say I was wanting just to lift it to a level 9 warm, but we want to go copper, a bright copper, or rose gold or something like that, that's when I'd probably use that high lift to get to that, and then put that over the top.
I don't even know if I'd use it then, if I'm honest, because of the level of lift and because of the so much tone. There's so much tone in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, with the blonde life, you've got clear, so there's not really any tone in that. It's like a natural. But again, I probably wouldn't. If a client came in the salon and said, "Oh, I want to be this," and I would be thinking, "Yeah, I'm not going to be using a high lift. I need to be lifting clean to then either bring back or tone out." So,
yeah, actually, it's a really good topic. That.
Yeah.
Level too easy. Yeah, you're right.
Why would we want to make our job any harder?
Yeah. Simple. Keep it simple. Make
fundamentals. What we spoke about at the very beginning. Foundation, fundamentals of everything. And then you can start to break the rules. But just to make beautiful hair, the fundamentals have got to be there. So understanding where you can lift from and to with using the desired products, that is what makes our life so much easier.
Cool. Questions?
No, that's it. We went through them all.
Excellent.
I'll bring up Bev just because she did comment. I like wheat look beige.
Yeah, I like that cornfield blonde. I love that. But I would often do that with bleach and tone. You know, really like add in tone to it. That beige, cool wheat color, you know?
Yeah.
Really sun-kissed look. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, what we'll try and do next week is we're on the Monday do you know where I would love to do it from? You know, upstairs in Helmond, we've got the 2 seats. I would love us if we could even just do 20 minutes there. We do like a little topic there.
You do that
and film it.
Let's do it.
But do you remember last time we didn't get to dinner till
9 o'clock?
9 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We just got to be more efficient.
We will, and we'll have a plan. We'll put it on the board, and this is who we're doing first. We're doing all the blonde bleach work first, and the high lift.
That's what we didn't do last time.
Yeah.
That's where we dropped the ball. Let's show we've learned.
Oh yeah. We're gonna smash it, mate. I can't wait. Gonna film it all, and we will live stream it as well. So while we're working all day on the Monday, we'll live stream it. We can go over to the.
If you have any questions in live stream, just put them away, and we'll answer them as we can.
Yeah.
So we'll do it on this, and I'll put it on my YouTube. You can put it on your YouTube. So that'll be really, really cool.
Perfect. Well, yeah, it's been great to be back.
Awesome. It's gone quick, Paul.
Very quick. Yeah. What is it? 1 hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah. So over time for us. We said we were going to do less than that.
Yeah. Well, 20 minutes. 20 minutes each. And I suppose we did. And then we've had 10 minutes of before and after. So
fair enough. We're kind of on time.
Bang on time. But yeah, so we will be live again next Monday. We'll be going live either at Helmond, most probably, at the restaurant, maybe, in the airport, possibly.
On the airport Monday.
And then in the bar.
In the bar, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Frangelico, our old friend.
Yeah, yeah, get Fran there.
Right.
Cool.
Nice one, Paul.
Right. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, everybody who's contributed and stayed on and joined in. We really appreciate it. And next week will be great fun. Thanks. We'll make it fun. Thanks, Victoria. Thanks, Sir Mark. Adios.
Thank you so much.